Good morning. I'm Michael, this is TECHMB, and today we're going to be going through a full day in the life with this, the Pixel 6. Now, this phone has been out for about a year, and the Pixel 7 was just announced, and deliveries are supposed to take place pretty soon, within the next few days as of this recording. But the Pixel 6 is still a great alternative. When it launched, it came riddled with a bunch of bugs and a bunch of issues, which was really disappointing considering the amount of excitement and hype that had been built up surrounding its launch, both by Google and other tech publications. And a lot of those publications, well, they talked about the Pixel 6 and all of its issues, but not as many of them followed up with how the device was doing. You see, when it launched, the Pixel 6 faced issues with its thermal management, its camera, its battery life, its cellular connectivity, its display, its fingerprint reader. I'm probably forgetting some in the process. And people talked a lot about all of those issues. However, the Pixel 6 is a great example of how continuous software refinement can turn a hardware clunker into a hardware showstopper. The Pixel 6 was a very bold move by Google. It introduced a whole new design language, a brand new camera system, and a Google-made tensor processor, which was supposed to amplify and augment machine learning tasks and all of these different AI programs on the phone. Now, a lot of those issues have been fixed. So, what is the Pixel 6 like to use in 2022? Let's find out. This bird just slammed into my window and scared the absolute crap out of me. I cannot lie. It is about 10:12. My Pixel 6 is hovering around 90% battery life. Pretty good. I haven't really done a whole lot with it. I've been up since about 7 or so. Exercised, shower, ate my Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm weird, I know. But I've got to get going in just a little bit. I'm going to head down to campus and do some more homework. Schoolwork takes a while. A few things though about the Pixel 6. First, you can see the angle for the camera lens. Video mode is zoomed in a decent amount more than photo mode. In camera mode, you actually get a pretty wide angle view, even without going into the wide angle lens. I was surprised. I mean, it's going from all the way over here to, you can't see it right now because it's off camera, but it went basically to my bed, which is a really pretty wide angle for the default lens. I do though wish that the wide angle lens was a little wider. It's only like 0.7x. There are times where it feels like it's not really getting that much wider than the default camera. The Pixel 6 has held up very well. I've been using this thing mostly in a case and screen protector, and it's held up very well. I do have a little scratch on the bottom left of the device, and screen has more like two small little scratches on it. But otherwise, the buttons are still clicky, the visor hasn't gotten cracked or scratched in any way, the frame is held up very well, there aren't any issues with bending, creaking, or flexing. Overall, it still feels very solid. I'm not a huge fan though of the very glossy back. It picks up a lot of fingerprints and it is very slippery. This is still a really big phone and something that you need to be aware of when you actually go to use this. It is wide and it is heavy. Using this with one hand is really difficult. I'm glad that it physically has held up very well. I had no issues with the charging port. I had no issues with any of the other physical pieces of this device. Physically, this design has aged very well, and I don't see that changing in the near future. I'm gonna finish eating a little snack, and then we're gonna head on down to campus. So, Always gotta have your music. So, this is a pretty neat area in my library called Stacks. I'm guessing a lot of other libraries have this, but you know, it's cool to me. It's just a little study area in the midst of all the books, and it's cool, and it's quiet, and there's no one else here. It's really nice. You can go up levels too. I have a meeting in 2 hours that I've got to get to for fencing, but for right now, it's grind time. Got fall break coming up, got some exams, projects, all that kind of stuff, so I've got to buckle down and do this. Let's get to it. Alright, this is a little bit weird of a setup. I've got my Pixel actually recording right now for the audio. Hopefully the microphone on here sounds a little better than the microphone on my camera. A few more things about the Pixel. Mainly talking about the display right now. It is a 6.4-inch 1080p AMOLED display. It looks really good, much better than the Pixel 4 XL display that I've been using recently. The Pixel 6 gets brighter in daylight, which is really useful. It's still not the brightest display in daylight, but you can see it at least, which you can't really say the same for like the Pixel 4 XL or even the Pixel 5 that I was using before. Also, it's very saturated. Forgot the word there for a moment. Colors pop pretty nicely on here. I really do enjoy looking at it. It isn't the absolute sharpest, as it's only kind of 1080p. However, it's still more than sharp enough for whatever you're doing on here, even for just like watching videos, reading text. In low light, and especially in dark mode when you're on kind of like a gray background, the screen looks really green and very grainy, especially on the left-hand side of the screen. It's just a little weird, to be honest, but overall, I'm pretty happy with this display. But I think that it is a lesser quality display, not a bad display or low quality display by any stretch of the means. In that display, there's also the fingerprint reader. It is an optical scanner. It's not great. I've got to be honest. It's gotten a lot better as time has gone on. When I first got it, it was trash. Android 13 especially has really improved the fingerprint scanner on here, as I can now actually use it. Whereas before, I really couldn't and had to rely on Smart Lock for convenient access to my phone. While it doesn't rival competitor scanners from companies like Samsung or OnePlus for sheer speed, it's gotten to the point where I don't see it as a detracting feature. Overall though, I think that for the time, the screen and the fingerprint reader are both in the good to average columns. I'm happy with that. Now, I've got to get back to homework. In a little bit, I have a meeting for fencing club, and then I've probably got another meeting for a group meeting, and then going to the gym later, and then trying to, too much work. Let's go back to doing homework. Before though, it is 12:29 and my phone is at 60% battery. Alright, this works. This is fine. I'm back here because I just finished my fencing club meeting. We blasted through a bunch of information in an hour to get our executive meeting done, which is really good. I've now got more homework to do, and a meeting in like an hour over Zoom, which is not fun, but group projects are what they are. So, a little bit more about the Pixel. On performance, the Pixel 6 has held up very well. This is the fastest and smoothest Android experience I've ever used. I've tested some Galaxy devices a little bit every now and then. I've used a bunch of Pixels leading up to this, and while Tensor may have thermal management issues, which it definitely does, the Pixel 6 gets pretty warm a lot of the time. I mentioned earlier today that it ended up overheating. Granted, that was the first time that I ever actually saw that. Performance is really good. It feels so fast and so smooth. The 90Hz display really does add to that feelings of smoothness. It really does help. I would really love to see a Pixel 6 Pro and what the 120Hz does. for performance, but apps load incredibly quickly, camera processing is very fast, general UI navigation, I hate to say it, buttery smooth. It's a great experience using the Pixel 6. It also doesn't bog down quite as much as other Pixels did. The Pixel 4 XL and the Pixel 5 to me both felt like they would start chugging when you threw heavier things at them, and I think a lot of it was due to the RAM. Even though the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 6 both share 8GB of RAM, the Pixel 6 just feels like it bogs down a lot less when you're doing more of those heavy intensive things like using maps while at the same time listening to music and trying to surf the web. In real usage, I have not really had any problems with Pixel 6, especially using it as my main device. Let's do homework. Again, always more work. It never stops. Don't be a business major. Sorry, it's not fun. It's 2:32. The Pixel 6 is at 50% battery. It's on low power mode, so it's just kind of sitting there. On a normal day, I probably would have more battery by this point. I think because I am recording a lot more video on here with higher brightness and just using a lot more of it, the battery is worse, but 50% at 2:30. I started my day at around 7 o'clock. Granted, my day is going to go a lot longer, so we'll see if I need to charge it before bed. Maybe I will, hopefully I won't. Alright, now it's homework time. Currently, 4:12. My Pixel phone is sitting at 33%, still on low power mode. I had about a half-hour phone call before this that really seemed to take a lot of the battery out. The modem in the Pixel is not the best. It's a Samsung modem because the Tensor chip is really just a modified Exynos processor. So yes, my phone is sitting at 33%. It's on low power mode. Definitely gonna need to charge this for later tonight as I plan on going to the gym, going to get some Halloween decorations, and just using it tonight. I'm probably gonna have to charge this, which isn't the best battery performance. It's kind of what I expected though for using the camera and some of those other features a lot more. Alright, I finally finished some of the things that I was working on. I didn't actually get any assignments really done to cross off my to-do list, which was sad. I really like getting that satisfaction of knowing something is done and it's off. I need help, but it's fine. It's a little after 5. My phone is down to 29%. It's sitting on low power mode. Definitely gonna need to charge this for a bit, but I think I'm gonna go get dinner, do a little bit more work, go to Spirit Halloween and pick up some Halloween decorations, and hopefully go to the gym, and then hopefully get some more video editing done later tonight, probably starting on this. So let's see how all of that goes. It's so nice stepping back outside. I've been in Carrier Library since like 11:30 today, and getting to go outside is very nice. As I'm walking back, a few more things that I just remembered. One, speakers on here, they're not the best. They get decently loud. They have some bass. Trebles are fine. It doesn't sound like they're rattling the whole phone like some other speakers do. They're no Bluetooth speaker replacement. It worked well for phone calls, assuming you're not having issues with phone calls because of the modem in here, which I mentioned previously. Phone calls are fine when they're working well. They sound good. People never had any issues hearing me. A lot of the features around phone calls are really useful. I love call screening. Haptics in here, very nice, feel very good. They may not be exactly the best. I do appreciate that Android 13 has made more use of them. There are more places that the haptic response is used, and it makes the OS feel a lot more alive. Android 13 on here is great, solved a lot of problems, really introduced that many new features. Wasn't really supposed to. Kind of a fix Android 12 update, which Android 12 needed fixing, and so that's gone. Android 13 is much better on here than it used to. A few other things. I've realized that I don't use 5G. There was a lot of hype that's been built up around this, but I never found it to be particularly useful. The area that I'm in has 5G, but it's not exactly that much faster than LTE, nor do I really notice less congestion on the network. Plus, 5G just ends up using a lot more battery life and generating a lot more heat because of the modem in this phone. On the other hand, adaptive brightness got a lot better. I said in my initial review that adaptive brightness was very jumpy. That issue has been smoothed out very well. Lastly, I don't use a lot of the tensor features, even though things like voice dictation are really fast and very accurate. There's new features like being able to say silence or dismiss or stop to deal with alarms and phone calls, but I found them to be kind of hit or miss. They didn't always work for me because of the volume of my alarm or phone call. Alright, so when I got back home, it was 6:50 and my Pixel 6 was at 6% battery. So I ended up charging it a little bit using a wired USB-C charger. Also, thank God that it uses USB-C. I had to charge it because I needed to make sure that it was going to last me for the night. It's now up to 32% and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go to the gym later tonight and hopefully run to the Halloween decoration store. My bad. I really want to keep making our house spooky because it's spooky season and that's the best season. So let's see how that all goes. Well, it's 11:10. My Pixel 6 is sitting at 17%. I did have to charge it earlier tonight just to make sure that I got through the full evening, but it's done. You can see the camera now in low light. It's fine, not the best. Some interesting lens flare going on because of the light behind me. Otherwise, this is a pretty good device. I definitely think that it's kind of worth it more over the Pixel 7. The Pixel 7 does come with some newer features, a few camera improvements, a slightly better tensor chip, but like, I don't think that's really anything you're going to notice. Pixel 6 is a really good phone, especially in 2022. If you pick one of these up for, $400, $450, you're doing really good. I mean, I would pick one of these up for $450 over even a Pixel 3a, just for the improved performance, the better display, the better battery life, etc. Honestly, there isn't really much else to say about the Pixel 6. It's a really good device. It had a rocky start, but it really has improved by the time that Google has gotten to now. Most of the issues that were there that could be corrected have been corrected through software updates. There are a few things that really frankly can't be fixed, like the modem, and I think some of the thermal management issues just won't be fixed because I think it's part of the chip itself. However, overall, it's a really good device. In 2022, definitely do recommend picking one of these up and using it. I would have no qualms getting it now, even though I am planning on selling mine and moving back to an iPhone because frankly I want a smaller phone, and also I'm getting a MacBook. So that's why I'm sadly selling my Pixel 6. Otherwise, if I weren't moving back to a MacBook and getting an iPhone as a result, I would continue using this for the next several years, because this really is a great device, as long as you're cool with a big phone. Otherwise, don't recommend the Pixel 6 if you want a small phone. If you're good with a big phone, honestly, I don't really think there's a drastically better choice on Android than the Pixel 6 right now. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the vlog and kind of off-the-cuff style. Something that I'm trying out, experimenting with. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.